without you having to chase? Say yes. Yes. How many of you want to be known for something specific? Something that made the booker go, this is the first person that I thought of. Say yes. Yes. How many of you want your stage presence, your online content, your DMs all to scream, this is a pro who knows exactly who she is? Give me a yes in the comments, or a yes or a wave. Let me know that you're there. Angel doves, fantastic. We are all on board. We are all saying yes. Yesterday we spoke about claiming our identity as a professional comedian. We made the choice, and for those of you who did your homework, well done. Congratulations. Let me be the first to congratulate you. For those of you who shared your homework, even better, because the more we take action and the more we take action with other people watching and within a community, the bigger the transformation is going to be. So for those of you who are sitting on the sidelines with your cameras off, I encourage you to switch those cameras on, look me in the eye, angel doves, and let's have loads of fun today, but go in deep and go in fully. So yesterday we spoke about claiming our identity, and just to round things up with claiming our identity, for years, I've been working with one of the writers and producers of The Daily Show. He's been a student of mine, and sometimes your students teach you the greatest lessons. And I started comedy, a stand-up comedy, way after he was already like an established name. And I remember I told him one day, I said, my big dream and goal is to be a touring comic. I want to see what they're doing in the world. And he said to me, Claudine, if you want to become a touring comic, you've got to be a touring comic. And I was like, what? What? And then it clicked. I got it. He was saying you need to be willing to get out of your comfort zone, to take massive, insanely huge action towards doing the thing you wanted to do and not waiting around for permission. Okay? I'm just going to mute Hector. There she is. Okay. So if you are sitting here on this live today and you are waiting to get discovered, waiting for permission, waiting for someone to tell you that you are good enough, funny enough, clever enough, I want you to let go of that today, cut those emotional cords, do what you have to do to take ownership of your career. You would never get an Uber and say, just drive. Okay, you would never get an Uber and say just drive. So why are you doing that with your career? Why are you doing that? When I think of like one of the bonuses that I decided to add for my VIPs, it is something that I've been curating for years, which is a Rolodex, a world Rolodex of comedy festivals around the world. And you know why I felt like this was such a value add for VIPs? Is because I was like, oh, if my goal is to become a touring comedian, let me start touring. If any of you follow manifestation, you'll know, or believe in manifestation, you'll know that you have to be, do, then you have it. So yesterday we claimed the be, okay? Now we are taking massive action. Today is all about taking massive action toward our goals. I want us to really look at the training that we're doing today from a perspective of, and this is why it's so important to me to share this with you guys, is having been in the position where I knew I was talented, but I was broke and I was waiting for approval and needing the approval. I took matters into my own hands and failed and struggled my way through this and had to learn and fail publicly and do all the things and do all the hard work so that you wouldn't have to. So, can we all just say, Claudine, you do the hard work for me? You do the hard work for me. You've done it. I've developed the blueprint that allows us to condense decades into days, but you are going to have to show up and take the massive action. So can we all in the comments give me some fire emojis, give me some, yes, I'm all in, give me, I am ready for today, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Angel Doves. I want to talk to you about yesterday, step one. So remember our 5 steps to our comedy cash flow method. Step number 1 was to claim, and now step number 2 is character. Now, what do I mean by character? I mean, if we look at uh, Beyonce, if we look at The Rock, if we look at Lady Gaga, they all have had to become a heightened version of themselves in order for them to make it as a mogul in the industry. Now, the reason why this is so powerful is they are not becoming or emulating someone else in the industry. For years, I wanted to be like Sarah Silverman, and I did that. I tried to do everything that Sarah Silverman did. And then I realized by being like Sarah Silverman or by trying to emulate Sarah Silverman, I will only ever come in second. And I like to win. I like to win. So I have a 5-step method for developing your character. Now, when I say character, I want us to think, for those of us, just let me know if you went to drama school here. Went to drama school. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So I want you to think of the skills that we learned at drama school when it came to method acting. And I want us to Daniel Day-Lewis this version, the highest version of ourselves. The Lulu who is performing to sold out bloody arenas around the world. The Stephanie who is using, in her words, her silly, oh God, I've got cold shivers, her silly to affect and transform the lives of others. Power. Power, power, power. Okay? So I want us to really go all in on defining this character for ourselves. So the first step in the character section is, sorry, let me re-explain that in actual English because I've got it in front of me. You don't have it in front of you. Okay, so uh, the heading is character. We're going to define our character. The formula for character to develop this character is the scene method acting. Scene method acting. So we use the word scene. Okay. The S is that, does that make sense to everybody? I mean, it makes sense in my head. Okay. The S stands for scripting your character. I want you to know that comedians without clarity become commodities, my angels. But comedians with character become unforgettable. And you can quote me on that. Okay. So I want you to go from where you currently are, which could be you're drifting. You feel like you don't exactly know what makes you distinct. You feel invisible. You feel interchangeable. You feel like there's not really anything special about you or your performance. Okay. You're constantly being overlooked for gigs and that you just aren't the right fit. But by scripting your character and designing her and playing her as if you were Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot, okay, with that much conviction, you get to wake up cast in the role of your bloody dreams as the highest version of yourself. The kind of comic who books rooms, commands attention, and builds a career off of being fully, unapologetically, gorgeously yourself. Wow. Okay. So step number one is script that character. Step number two, connect to their core. How many of you feel like you are writing or performing to please others or to please your audience? And I don't mean in service of your audience. I mean that you have lost touch with the core of you and you are changing your voice because you think that's what the audience is going to like. You see, the laughs may land, but there is something that is missing. It is not meaningful. It is not you. It is not you. Yesterday, Chamu was on the call and she asked the most fantastic question. She said to me, she goes, Claudine, how do I know when I found my voice? And I said, you know when you found your voice? The moment you stop caring what other people think of you. Now, for those of you who still really care about the comedy that you are putting out, and obviously I'm talking within limits, please do not do anything that is hateful speech. You know what I'm saying, okay? But for those of you who are feeling like you care and you need that approval, you haven't found your voice yet. Because finding your voice feels like freedom. It is liberating AF. Because comedians who are able to root themselves in something that is real will be able to rise above that noise. Because it is just noise, the approval of others. Okay? The next E is to embody that energy. Embody the energy of that character, of the highest version of you. I want you to just be cognizant of who you are in your body today, how you are feeling. Did you come here tired? Not in the mood? Doubting whether you would show up? Okay. Do you shrink before you go out on that stage? Does your body contradict your words? What is your physiology telling you and telling the audience? Do you feel like you are an imposter on stage and online? You know you're better than this. Your presence is not reflecting it until you make the decision to embody the energy and change your physiology. Tony Robbins says, change your physiology, change your life. You've got to get into the state of the highest version of yourself, the sold out comedian, before you are sold out, my angels. You got to disconnect from the trauma of being broke and embody the boldness of earning billions. You need to be able to walk in and have people feel you, your magnetisms, your magnetism, your magneticism. You know what I mean. Okay. Wow. My English is not so good today. Okay. But you need to speak with conviction. Your energy, your posture, your pace. It needs to scream, I'm already who I am becoming. So I'm asking you to not just play the part of this character, I'm asking you to become it. I want you to know that your energy enters the room before your punchlines do. Okay? Right. The N is for normalizing the narrative. Now, what do I mean by normalizing the narrative? If you are showing up inconsistently, and what I mean by this is you feel like you'll perform and then it's almost like a reset and you're starting over and you're disappearing because your identity is not stuck yet. You need to normalize the narrative. You need to make this your story every damn day. You need to wake up as the Sasha Fierce of your life and embody her every single day. And that comes with setting up routines and adopting routines. Normalize the narrative for your character and become her. I want you to start living as the future version of yourself every single day. It must feel natural. It mustn't feel, it mustn't, at first it will feel rehearsed. At first it will feel rehearsed, but soon it will become so familiar that it's no longer a role that you are playing. It is who you are. The identity that you rehearse is the identity that you become. I am dropping bombs, truth bombs like it is nobody's bloody business today. Okay. The last E, angel doves, is to expand the edges. Expand the edges. You keep saying no to things that you secretly want. How many of you are delaying, you're waiting, you're doubting, you're shrinking further from a career that could already be yours if you just took the necessary action? If you just made the decision to go all in today. If you can take bold, aligned action daily. You pitch yourself, you take the stage, you hit send, you stretch your edge, and suddenly everything starts to shift. Shauna, are you with me, babes? She is with me. Your future isn't waiting for permission. It is waiting for action. It is waiting for action. And on that note, gorgeous ladies, I know that a lot of you have been taking notes like a crazy. I want us to go into ahas. Has there been anything in this framework where you have gone, oh, I am playing it small, and no longer am I playing it small. I am cutting that cord. Is there anyone who would like to share an aha, a breakdown, a breakthrough? Stephanie, my girl, we got you. Do you need me to unmute you?
Hello.
Darling.
I think, well, it's that just that last thing that you said, that your future's not waiting for permission, it's just waiting for action. And it's the aha to, I always want to make content and stuff, and I feel like it's not going to be perfect, and I know it doesn't even need to be perfect, I just need to do it. And so it's just like, just stop waiting around for it to be perfect or to have permission and just do it. You have the skills. People like your videos anyway, even when you're just being an idiot and not even thinking about it. So just pull your finger out and do it.
Please give it up for Stephanie. She is bringing the fire, dropping the bomb. She is doing all the amazing stuff. Stephanie, 100%. This is why when people say to me, Claudine, why did you make day 6 of this challenge all about AI? I will tell you why I made it all about AI. What is going to happen is if you are not using AI, you need to be using AI. It is not cheating. It is not cheating. The other day I attended, and I'm sure some of you were on the call with me. We were with a commissioning editor. I think she was for the BBC, and she told us, I asked a question about AI, and she told us that she feels that AI is cheating. Now, if you feel that AI is cheating, you're going to get left behind when AI decides to become much better at you than the thing that you're doing. Okay? So the reason why I made day 6 AI, in a world of AI, how do we take what is going to stand? Let me say it this way. In a world of AI, so it relates back to what Stephanie was saying. In a world of AI, what is going to stand out is our imperfections, the spelling mistakes, the editing glitch. People are going to crave humanity. So if you can start being consistent, going online every single day, showing up, saying, this is who I am. I don't care if one person wants to listen. If one life, let me tell you something, if one life is changed, moved, inspired, touched from your comedy or from your content, you have a moral obligation to show up. You have a moral obligation to show up. That's why I do what I do. Okay? So that imperfection, Stephanie, is going to be the gold that is going to allow you to stand out in AI, who is eventually going to be much better at writing jokes than we are. Much better. Beautiful. Any other ahas?
I just wanted to second what Stephanie said, and I feel similar. Like, and I was paralyzed with you worry about being cringe, especially to people you know. Like, you don't really care hugely about like the rest of the world, or at least I don't. But it's the people you know. You're like, oh no, it's the same thing. You're like, no friends and family come to gigs. But I watched a creator online say about how you have to be cringe to be considered creative at first. Like, everybody that you admire now at some point was the person from their small town, or the person with a day job that's maybe quite serious or whatever, where people hadn't considered them as a creative person or as a comedian. And the way that they got there was just pushing through that. And so it's still work in progress for me. So that's, so this is all feeding into that, which is fantastic. But I think like greatness is the other side of cringe. So I think that's
I'm writing that down.
key.
Love it. Greatness. Continue, because I'm loving it.
No, that's it. I just think that's it, isn't it? And I think as well, someone said to me about imagining like the 9-year-old version of you and then also the 90-year-old version of you. And both of those opinions matter more than Joe blogs on the street or Joe blogs on your timeline. And actually showing up for both of those versions of myself is much more important. They're the opinions I should really matter about. I really should care about, rather than someone didn't think that was funny. Well, so what? They might love the next one. So I do think you're right. I think sometimes because we deal in like jokes and laughter, that sometimes it can feel, and some of the, jokes we might tell maybe not high caliber political humor, depending on what you're doing and where you're playing. You're like, oh, what's the resonance of this? But you really are right, Claudie. Like, you don't realize how you're impacting people's days. And I haven't done a huge lot online yet, but it's something I want to try and grow alongside, because it can really help boost your career now, especially. but people reached out, even daft videos, and like a couple of people say, "Oh, I've had a really rough day, and this has really made me laugh." And they're not a following; it's just a person's come across it on a For You page or whatever, and it is impactful, and it is meaningful. So I think it's claiming that as well. Rather, I think I'm quite quick to brush off this as it's not. I'm not a doctor or a lawyer, so it's not serious, but it is serious because it helps people. So yeah, I think that was a great supportive message. I think, Claudine, to take myself seriously in an unserious business.
Lulu, let's celebrate her with some clicks and some claps and all the things. Power. 222. Yes. Um, Lulu, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to talk to you about cringe. I look back at my career and I look at my early work that I did on the SABC, which is like the BBC, but in South Africa. And sometimes I still pray that the SABC burns down, like, and all the tapes, just like all the tapes from the past, just like burn to smithereens. And people are like, oh, that stuff is deleted from history because it is so cringe. It is so cringe. And all I can take from that is go, okay, cool. I must have learned something about how not to be cringe or how not to like, but who is still thinking about it? Me. There is not one other person who is watching tapes from 15 years ago, okay? Old SABC shows from 15 years ago going, wow, Claudine is so cringe, you know? So it's also putting your shit into perspective. Like, come on, stop being so bloody hard on yourself. Put yourself out there. And let me tell you something. Do you know what is so hard? Is putting yourself out there and no one showing up and still doing the thing. I cannot tell you the prayers that went out before this challenge. It's very different for me doing a challenge in South Africa where I know my audience, I know my people, I know people know me, they trust me, they've worked with me, my clients are there, I know people are going to show up. Here, I was praying to, I don't even know what gods and goddesses to say, please, Lord, let somebody show up because having to do this, which I would have, having to do this on a Zoom by myself would have been really bloody tough, but I would have done it. I would have done it. So when we talk about showing up and showing up consistently, the commitment needs to be I am going to show up consistently as if my life depended on it, and I am willing to be shit. I am willing to be shit until I am not shit, until I have done those 10,000 hours and I've become the master of whatever I am doing. Consistency, when they say consistency is key, they are not messing around. They are not messing around. Anybody else who wants to share something, takeaway? Nah. Big breakthrough, breakdown, what's going on? Jane, hello, my darling.
There. Hello.
Hi.
Lovely to meet you.
You too.
Yeah, I think the key thing for me is the embodying of something. So kind of I like performing. I haven't performed for a while because life got in the way. So now I am focusing on kind of narrative writing and sketch writing, but I do want to be maybe a sketch comedian to some extent to inform the writing as well. But I have found that I'm not great at embodying that person. I'll perhaps it's partially the introvert to some extent that likes to just go and hide away and sort of come back, kind of clownfish back into it. But I think that is probably counterproductive to some extent, because you can still step back and take time for yourself, but in order to actually it's the consistency, isn't it? It's like practicing the guitar, and I've had a guitar since I was 18, and I've never entirely mastered it because it feels frivolous. And the same as I think Lulu said, it doesn't feel serious to do something creative. Coming from a working class background, or any background where you are brought up to achieve and to do something like be a lawyer, God knows my parents would have loved it if I'd have gone into law. And you don't, and that's a big deal to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That isn't who I am. But then you don't feel entitled enough to pursue what seems to be a frivolous career. And I have the skills. I know I have the skills. I have acknowledgement from being shortlisted in any kind of writing I've done. So I'm a journalist as well. And, I won a features prize for my delightful writing. But I've always drawn back from it. And then again with comedy writing, so yeah, it's the consistency, I think, and not denying that that's what you want and you need to get it. Not just you want to get it, you need to get it. So yeah, normalizing that, embodying it. And you're right about the energy. It's putting that energy forward. So yeah.
Give it up for Jane, everybody. Thank you for being vulnerable, Jane, and for sharing. Jane, can I coach you for a moment?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Jane, I want you to rethink something that you said. And I want us all to rethink this, because I also used to think like this. How can I make a career out of something that seems frivolous? Now, I want you to start thinking about what you are doing as God's work. God's work. If I can show if one person on this call today or after this challenge, at the end of day 6, one person turned around to me and said, Claudine, I feel liberated and I feel like I have the answer to turn this thing into a career. My work here is done. My work here is done. Jane, your voice is powerful. It is needed. You're not just a little journalist. How long have you been doing journalism for?
I qualified as a journalist in 2013, but I was a carer for a long time, and my ex-partner was a bipolar alcoholic, so it was a struggle to keep him alive. And two of our children are registered blind, so kind of I was a single parent effectively. So the journalism was a way to make something out of that, to share something, like you say, something that could change lives. But you saying it's God's work, I had used to go to church quite a lot when I was younger. I was brought up Christian and went to church every Sunday, twice every Sunday. And I cannot remember which of it's probably one of the Gospels it was, but it says that it is a sin to waste your talent. And that always stuck with me from a very childlike place, and a childlike place where you crave to please. And of course, it comes from the pulpit, so you're very, very obedient in those days. Well, I was anyway. And I thought, my goodness, I feel that I do have a talent for writing stories as it was then. And above all of this kind of like adversity in life, I thought it would be a sin if I wasted a talent. So so yeah, I guess that does really connect with doing God's work, really, because that is kind of, it's just been this real point in my very receptive child brain that it is God's work.
Beautiful. Jane and everybody on this call, can we reframe and look at the thing that is stopping us, or the thing that no, that's not right. Can we look at the thing that we are using to play small or to keep small as our greatest superpower? And what I mean by that is, instead of saying, I'm just a journalist, saying, since 2013, I have been writing like it is nobody's business. I have changed lives. I have changed perspectives on how people see the world. And that is my greatest superpower. And I'm no longer going to use it as something that keeps me small, but I'm going to use it and reframe it as my superpower. It is what makes me me. Jane. Stephanie, we have a question.
Not a question. I just wanted to say that I always used to call myself just this or just that, and I've really stopped using the word just. And it takes a while, but as soon as you go, I am just a thing, and remove that just, it really gives you confidence in yourself. That's all I want to say.
Amen. Thank you, Steph. Unless you are saying, I am just the most bloody fantastic, incredible human at me and at my comedy. Like, totally get rid of just. 100%, Steph. Love that. Love that. Angel Doves, let me quickly dive into this training. I need to make sure that we cover everything for today. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to move on. I just want us to really look at what is holding us back in terms of these false beliefs that we have around character and around developing character. So for those of you who are feeling, I don't have a strong enough persona yet, I used to feel like I had to find my persona before I was ready to put myself out there. So you might be holding back because you're still figuring it out for yourself. But here is the truth. Your persona is something you develop by showing up, by being consistent. It is not something that you discover in isolation. So when I say, come, let's go all in, put your cameras on, do your homework, do the thing, I'm saying it because I'm saying I know what it takes to change state. I know what it takes to really do the thing. And that is the sort of level and commitment I expect of myself and I expect from you. You know, but you have to expect it from yourself. Because you see, they want you to believe that you'll only be taken seriously if you have a finished product that is perfect. But your persona isn't found, it is built in front of audiences. It is built in front of people. Put yourself out there. Make that commitment. What about if you're asking yourself, I'm not interesting enough to be a brand? What is special about me? Okay. Now, I used to believe that branding was for like cool marketing kids who like understood the gimmicks and how you could like follow a thing. And, so you might feel like you're just normal and there's nothing special about you. People do not buy characters. This is so important. People do not buy characters. Listen to me close. They buy connection. And no one else has your backstory, your voice, your way of seeing the world. No one else has been a journalist since 2013, Jane. Your superpower. You see, they will try to convince you that you are only as valuable as your follower count. And I want to say that the most magnetic brand is the one that is the most deeply authentic. Chamu can tell me if she agrees. She is in marketing. She is a marketing superhero. Chamu, give me a thumbs up if you're feeling what I'm feeling, girl. She's got me. Good. Shame. It's very late where Chamu is. We're not going to call on her too much today. Okay. So some of you may be feeling, I should just let my material speak for itself. My material, my jokes, my stuff is so good or should be so good that it speaks for itself and that's it. Now, I used to think that being on stage was good enough. Remember, yesterday I said the comedy producers wanted to give me a shirt that said, I'm Claudine and I'll take 5 because I would ask to get on stage. There was not, in my brain, there was not a harder working comedian than me. Okay. So I thought that as long as I'm funny, the gigs are going to come. You might believe that branding is for people who aren't funny enough. Okay. But we don't live in that sort of world anymore. Like bookers, fans, they need to know who you are. They need to know your persona. They need to know who, like, how you show up as the highest version of yourself before they are going to click to buy your ticket to your show. You see, they'll tell you that real comics don't need to market. Spoiler alert, I have worked with comedians who have come to me with hundreds and thousands of followers and said, Claudine, I am not profitable. Some months I am swimming through the oceans of money, and other months I am like, how am I going to pay rent? I need a job to come in. If no one knows what you stand for, they are going to scroll right past you. Okay? So for those of you who are feeling like, if I create this character, if I create a brand, and when I say character, Chami came on late, I just want to remind you that it is all about creating the highest version of yourself, okay, and embodying that, okay? But for those of you who are feeling like creating a brand it's gonna box me in, you know, I'm more diverse than that. You see, I thought branding actually meant I was limiting myself by picking like one version of myself and having to go, right, that's how people see me and like killing the rest. Now, you might feel that picking one lane means losing creative freedom, but branding isn't boxing, it's anchoring. It's anchoring. It gives people a way to remember us and refer you to other people. So you see, they want you to be scattered. They want you to be uncertain. They want you to play small. They want you to be unbooked. But your brand isn't a box. Oh, that's hard to say. Your brand isn't a box. It's a bridge. It's a bridge. For those of you who are like, Claudine, that's for influencers. I'm a real comic. I'm serious about my art. You know, I used to roll my eyes at people with like Canva graphics and like personal hashtags and things like that, because you might feel like focusing on your brand makes you less legit. All right. But most successful comedians, write this down, are brands. Look at their vibe. Look at their messaging. It's intentional. They have set up their brand. Okay? Look at all the comedians who you look up to, they are brands. And what did I say earlier on this call? The reason why we are doing day 6 as an AI deep dive is because what is going to stand out in a world of AI in the next 2, 5, 10, possibly 1 year, we don't know how long it's going to take, but it's moving faster than we think. What is going to stand out is personal brands. Personal brands. People want human connection. So you see, they want you to believe that branding equals selling out. Branding doesn't make you fake, it makes you findable. Makes you findable. Okay. For those of you who are like, if I stand out too much, I may scare the bookers away. Like, you know, I've watered myself down for years. As I say, I wanted to be Sarah Silverman. I think I was like, let me just play it safe. Let me make sure my comedy is safe, my comedy is neutral, my comedy is palatable. So you might be shrinking your edges because you're afraid that it will cost you gigs. Okay? But the more you hide, the more forgettable you become, the more you will be ignored. You see, they want you compliant. They don't want you, you think that they don't want you to rock the boat, right? But let me tell you that being unforgettable, and tomorrow we're going to talk about standing out. Being unforgettable is the only safe bet. For those of you who are like, my voice keeps changing, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to do all this, okay? I used to think that I had to be perfectly polished, and this is exactly what Stephanie was saying before. I need to be perfectly polished before I can be seen. So you might feel like you're still evolving. It's too soon to claim a brand, but your voice changes because you are growing. So make it messy because that puts you in motion. You see, they want you stuck. They want you in getting ready mode so that you never get paid. But clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of it. It comes because of it. For those of you who are like, I'm going to figure this out once I become more established, by all means, whatever it takes for you to figure this out, go do the thing. But as I say, I've done the hard work so that you don't have to. Let's compress decades into days, people. You can go out and do this by yourself and fail and do 15 years of getting up there and doing the thing and remaining broke. And I was there until I said no more. Okay? So you don't get visible after you arrive. You arrive because you are visible. Okay? And finally, for those of you who are feeling other people can do it, I'm not remarkable. I'm not marketable. Okay? What do I have to sell? I used to scroll and I used to think, okay, yeah, it's easy for them. They're hotter, they're funnier, they're more polished, they've had more reps in me. So you might feel like the industry has like a look or a type, and you're not it. You're not what people want. But the truth is audiences crave truth, not perfection. You're not too much. You're the whole damn package. You're the whole damn show. They want you believing you're not enough so they can keep you playing small and playing safe. You're not too weird. You're not too raw. You're not too niche. You're just a little bit early. You're just a little bit early. Angel doves. I hope, not even hope. If you have felt touched, moved, inspired by anything we have done today, just give me a yes. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. We have come to the end of our session today. We are going to be doing a VIP session where we're going to deep delve into this even more. We are going to get your questions answered and be doing some laser focus coaching. You are also going to get all the bonuses of day 6, which is our AR training. And you are going to get that World Comedy Rolodex. So you do not need permission to become a world-class touring comedian. You can sign up for the Sydney Comedy Festival and go all in and do the thing. Okay? So, for those of you who want to deep dive and who want to go further with me, we are going to go all in. And I will put the link in the chat now because I know some of you do not have access. So just hold on 2 little seconds for me, please, while I get this link. Here it is. Here it is. And I cannot wait to see you all. Oh, I did get questions. Claudine, when is the last time we can upgrade to VIP? You can upgrade until the very last minute, but you are missing out on daily VIP sessions. Yesterday it was me and Chamu. So me and Chamu got a one-on-one for a gazillionth of what I normally charge for a one-on-one session. So do not miss out on the VIPs. We are going deep. We are delving in. We are taking things seriously. We are committing. For those of you who can't join me, I will see your gorgeous faces tomorrow. Homework. Homework. I was just about to let you go without giving you homework. Please do the homework, Angel Doves. Not for me, for you. Okay? Show up, go all in, write the comments, make the commitments to yourself. Okay? Go all in for yourself. So homework for today is you can choose. You can go live as your character. Yes, Stephanie was like, wow, I'm saying wow to that too. Okay? Live as your character, introducing yourself on the Facebook group. This is who I am. This is what makes me special, bloody unique, amazing, fantastic. Okay? You can record something and post it, or you can type it in a comment. Boo, boring. Okay? Don't be boring. Present yourself. Let this be the first thing. If you want to go live in the Facebook group and then repost it on Instagram, repost it. This is who I am. I'm Claudine, and this is how I show up in the world. This is what makes me unique. I want you to show up as that character today. So go do your homework now. Lulu, hello, my love.
Dead quick, sorry. I have stupidly lost the link you sent yesterday kindly for the Facebook group. Would you mind resharing in the chat?
Sure.
Thank you.
I absolutely will reshare that. Oh gosh, I've opened the wrong documents. Oh, let me just pray for me, ladies. Pray for me. Hold on. Seriously, pray for me because here it is. Here it is. Wow. I'm actually better than this at this than I thought. Look at me pulling up links. Wow, multitasking. Okay, here is the Facebook group.
Thank you.
Join, present yourself. I'm going to put up a video to give you time for VIP, to join up to VIP, and I will see you in about 20 minutes for the VIP session. So, yeah, for those of you who still need to sign up and get the link is in the chat. Angel Doves, Kapkumka, Kapkumka. And please remember to stay hilarious. I will see you here tomorrow, same time, same place. I can feel your energy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Chamu. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Hector. Hope I'm getting it right. Adore you. Big round of applause to everybody. See you in VIP.
Claudine is probably the best placed person to break you out of your shell and to show you a new direction in terms of like what you are capable of achieving. So yeah, I highly recommend working with her. And if you do have the opportunity, jump in with both feet.
Comedy and improv also makes you a better presenter, better speaker, a better listener. I think it makes you a better human altogether. And I think I've been a miserable human without it for so long.
Like love isn't always a big thing that is spoken about when it comes to entrepreneurs and managerial things and go-getters and all that stuff. But love is possibly Claudine's biggest quality. She's got so much love in everything she does, and a high skill, high aptitude for improv, and there's this care in her heart where she cares about others. So some people in the performance world, it's a tough game, and so you tend to focus on where you're at, where she has enough heart to climb out of her own skin and to really care about where you're at and walk the journey with you. Hey man, she's gonna give you super skills. It's gonna be a wonderful journey. It's gonna kick ass, and you're gonna grow as a performer. If you're not a performer, you're gonna learn skills. You're gonna become a performer. You're gonna learn great improv skills with Claudine. I highly recommend it. She's awesome.
A lot of confidence, like it's brought out a lot of the characteristics that have always been deep inside of me.
That has been my journey from a timid engineer, hiding behind the scenes and just simply looking at life through the camera, through the viewfinder, I should say. And instead, I get to tell my story in front of the camera and help other people tell their story as well. So thank you, Claudine.
It was a really amazing time where I learned really the art of speaking, of making sure that whatever is going on in my mind is finding a clear way and making it to my audience. It didn't matter who I was speaking to or why. Claudine was always in our corner, helping us understand that improv is an amazing way to be open as a creative. And then even as someone outside of the creative space, improv is a way for you to generate new and exciting ideas. It's a way to come out of the shell of a corporate space and really find fun again in living. I'm so glad that I was able to work with Claudine. She has really helped me grow as a performer and as a person. And I can guarantee that she can definitely do that for you.
Before I logged on, I literally couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. And the person I was an hour and a bit ago and the person I am now is two different people. I'm more relaxed. I am feeling more confident. I feel like you've literally changed my life because I've been sitting on top of a proposal for 4 years because I was scared that I'm going to fail. I'm failing because I'm not even trying. So it's showing me that it's okay to fail. So what if I tried and it doesn't work out, but at least I would have tried. I'm really so thankful for you, for this.
Well,
You've changed my life, really, and I hope I can continue with it.
Comedy isn't difficult. Yes, very. But you know what else is difficult? Making characters in your commercials sound like actual human beings, not just like mouthpieces. With Claudine's improv training, what I was able to do is come up with something that was a little bit more funny and had a little bit more character to it. So it wasn't just people mouthpiecing about the product, but rather sounding like actual human beings that talked about something they really enjoyed or cared about. So this is something that interests you. You should talk to Claudine. Literally, she's right there. National treasure, available to you. Contact her.
Claudine Ullman is an incredible coach. She has such a wonderful energy, and she's really able to guide you safely and joyfully through any process. I have always enjoyed working with her and recommend her wholeheartedly.
I was very impressed. I was very just like, wow, this works. This is brilliant. I think if you want to engage and really muscle in with the framework, then you need to do it in person. You need to do 3 days.
So I'm compliance manager, headed up a trade surveillance team within a Japanese investment bank. Before it was really difficult speaking in front of executives and trying to get something that sounded like what I needed to say, what I knew in my head, out to and communicate to those people that were needing the value of what I had to say. And so that was me beforehand, and I really struggled with that. and being able to sort of, if you like, be starstruck in front of these types of people. Not thinking I had anything of value to say, but the reality was very different. Really realizing I actually had something to offer that group really made a difference to me and gave me huge amounts of confidence. And sort of since that, like, it really has the course that I did really has revolutionized the way that I've been able to communicate and speak to those more senior than me. Like, I don't have, there's a little voice there beforehand saying, but that says, you've got to make sure that you're well prepared. You've got to make sure that, you've got something to say. But then when I'm actually in the room, there's less of that voice saying, oh, you hit like being starstruck, that starstruck voice that's basically freezing me and not allowing me to function and get what I need to get out. And so now I've just that's just totally been revolutionized, really. And actually, soon after the improv course, I actually gave a presentation. So that one of the senior execs in my field said, Scott, we need you to do a presentation. And it was something that my level of management would give over the previous 3 or 4 years I'd been there. And I always felt to myself, there's no way if they ever ask me that I'm actually going to do it. And I had actually, the head of my whole department had actually asked me to do one. And I said, no, let me think about it. And I never got back to him. But this time, there was really no going away with it. It's like, I had to do it. And anyway, it was in front of 150 people, and it actually went amazingly well. And so many people came on afterwards and said, wow, that was unbelievable. We never knew you could do that. So many people, like, privately saying it was just so interesting what you had to say. Just makes you realize that, there's this voice in your head that sometimes you just need to switch off because it really doesn't matter. Care about you, be yourself, and this course gave me that sort of self-confidence, helped give me that additional self-confidence that I believe I needed at that time. Yeah, I would 100% recommend it. It really is something that you would not normally associate with doing this type of improv to, like, improve your overall sense of worth and being able to present to lots of people and talk to lots of people. But one thing it does do is it really prepares you and enables you to be able to do that. So I would 100% really recommend it, and it really has improved things for myself. Just in general, not just in work, but just in life and in general, like being prepared to, like, risk everything, like not to care so much what people think, what people have to say about you. Being like just trying to be more funny and jokey, and even if it doesn't go down well, it's great. You just laugh at yourself and think, don't take it too seriously. So just things like that. It's just worthwhile doing.
Like, improv has helped me a lot with just life stuff. Getting to know people. And is essential really just for life. Yeah. When you fall and you fall hard, it sucks and it hurts but there's always more. There's always, if you're open to it. And so I think that's what I learned, especially from the jittery days, because we would have some horrendous moments on stage where you feel like, what's going on? But the beauty of that was, like, among other things, listening and being open and being brave and being, all of those things kind of really speak to what you need, I think, when you're immigrating and in life in general. Like, you just have to kind of survive and thrive. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other option. So there are many times where I felt like, or that there was a lot of rejection. But I think because of my training in improv, there definitely was, with every single meeting, I was never desperate. It just takes the desperation out of the thing, You almost are able to present your better and higher self when you are, when you're in a space of whatever, I don't care, this is me, and take it or leave it. Do you know what I'm saying? You just develop the thick skin I'm talking about. You develop this confidence, and that's contagious. You know, I think people like that and they want to be a part of that. And I think that's eventually how I got, I was able to, I didn't spend that long. I saw a lot of people, but like in the matter of like 2 weeks, I had an agent, and stuff that I learned through Jittery, through my experiences improving. And I think at the core is being fearless. It's just going, well, what's the worst that can actually happen? And improv absolutely helps you get there because you're unhinged. You're literally just there are rules, but you are kind of free to, you can go right to the boundary if you need to. You know what I'm saying? And that I think improv has helped me a lot with. I feel like the very essence of improv really allows you to not step out of yourself, but step to your highest self, because you are then open to whatever possibilities. You're open to more possibilities, should I say. So I feel like being in a situation where you are now improvising, you are going, that's who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? And you're going, I'm going to be that guy. I'm open and I'm here and I'm listening and I'm not holding back. If something, if you say something, I'm going to respond honestly. I'm not going to plan, and that when you do that, I think you're being authentic and you're operating from your higher self. Have a profession in entertainment, you absolutely have to do an improv class. I think that is necessary. It's not, Jittery. And I think I found that out when I started doing improv in Atlanta, because Jittery was always so very, like, I felt like of all the troops that I'd worked with, Jittery was super, like, professional. And, like, at times I was just, like, very, like, why is it this, like, you know what I mean? And then when I went outside and I saw, like, people have classes and it's like, and then you move up and I could see that this isn't just like a fickle thing. It was really like, this is a tool that can not only improve your acting, but how you operate in the world. And it is super necessary. So whatever it is, if you're in business, you're wherever, I think these are super essential tools for life that I've learned and that I continue to kind of explore and try to learn.
I am beyond proud to launch